Hey there, this is Stefan from Principia. Today I'd like to show you some highlights of our latest release v4, which was released last week. So let's start with some minor changes here in the modeler. For example, in the body section you can now do some overrides of the mass and also material parameters. This could be used, for example, to change the mass in order to have an additional load on a body without changing the geometry of it, or do some artificial change in the density. Then in forces, you now have some icons for all force types, which makes it easier to read a model. Then we also added the reaction mate connector for constant force and constant torque, which means you can now add forces acting between two bodies and not only world and body. And you can also select the direction of the force, either defined by the action or reaction mate connector or world. So let's come to the part which was the focus of this release. It was an improvement of the connection between on-shape simulation and Principia. So if you are interested in the finite element analysis of a single part, like this interface linkage here, you probably have to compute some loads in the interfaces. And this can be done with Principia, and now I show you how to not only export the forces from Principia, but also bring your on-shape assembly in the correct configuration for one time frame, because we are talking about some moving system. So let's search for a peak in a force of this interface part. We see this peak shows up when the body is not in the initial position, but in a different position. So for a finite element analysis, we are probably interested in apply the transformation of this assembly. Voila, here you are. So we can now transform your on-shape assembly into exactly the state where the Principia assembly is at one time point. And also by clicking on the right button here, we are writing all the forces in the interface to an on-shape variable studio. So the same time frame and also with the correct name. So we also updated this to export it with the correct full name of the force. So you have a unique export. And what's also possible with this applied transformations is to handle versions too. So you could, for example, reuse the on-shape assembly within a branch. And then in this branch, you could say this is a simulation branch with only the body you're interested in. For example, this intermediate part. And then you can apply this transformation here too, without having all the other parts in this assembly. This doesn't matter. So Principia searches for all the parts that are there, and you can transform this part into this position. There were some additional updates in the app too, like better handling of versions. You now see the versions and branches in our history, so you can relate results with a branch or a version, and many other minor changes. So I'd say let's try it, and if there are any questions or feedback, just reach out to us. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.